Hi, it's Tesh from Turnbuckle Times, and in this video, 10 wrestling facts which sound unbelievable, but are actually true. Number 10. Dustin Rhodes has wrestled in 5 different decades. Dustin Rhodes has had one hell of a career in professional wrestling, making a name for himself in WWE as Goldust before continuing his legacy as Dustin Rhodes, along with several wacky gimmicks in between. It has been 33 years since his first match, showcasing just how long he has been in the business. With Dustin debuting in 1989, it has meant that he has sensationally wrestled in 5 different decades, which is a crazy feat for someone who is just 53 years old. Number 9. Jeff Hardy has never won a TLC match. Jeff Hardy is one of the 6 men who helped to revolutionize the tables, ladders and chairs match, alongside his brother in classic matches including Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys. However, despite his legendary status when connected with this gimmick, Hardy has never actually won one. He had competed in 5 TLC matches in WWE, some of those being tag team matches and some in single matches, but has ultimately come up short each and every time, which is certainly a surprise. Number 8. Terry Funk debuted the same year The Undertaker was born. Terry Funk's longevity in the professional wrestling business is nearly unmatched, with him wrestling all the way until he was in his 70s in an array of different promotions, with Funk making his wrestling debut all the way back in 1965, the same year that The Undertaker was born. Now, Taker is someone who has wrestled far longer than he should have, but he retired only 3 years after Funk did, which is absolutely astonishing and just goes to show how long Funk ended up competing. Number 7. Kelly once defended the World Heavyweight Championship. The World Heavyweight Championship has a long lineage in wrestling, stretching well before the WWE in the likes of the NWA and then later WCW. It must be noted that it has always been a men's division title, but during the Divas era of WWE, it was actually defended by a female competitor. Now, Kelly was never the best in-ring technician, but she was popular amongst the fans, although she was certainly not up to the standard to be representing such a legendary title. In 2011, Kelly teamed with the world champion at the time, Edge, in a 2-on-3 handicap match with the title on the line, but Kelly won the match for her team, thereby officially defending the belt. Number 6. John Laurinaitis has more 5-star matches than Kurt Angle. Most fans just know John Laurinaitis to be the former real-life talent relations antagonist within WWE, but he was actually a very well accomplished in-ring performer, particularly in Japan. He would go on to be awarded 2 5-star matches by Dave Meltzer, which is 2 more than Kurt Angle ever received, despite being considered one of the best in-ring workers of all time. Also, if you can believe it, it's a higher number than Mr. Perfect received too. Number 5. Batista is older than Triple H. When Batista started climbing the ranks in WWE, it was under the leadership and tutelage of Triple H, who was the leader of their Evolution faction. At the time, Batista was still a rookie, whilst Triple H had been wrestling for nearly a decade. However, despite the fact that Trips was his mentor, Batista is actually older than Triple H. Although both men are 53 years of age, Batista was born first, which is definitely a shock considering Batista was presented as a young up-and-comer, with Triple H being the experienced veteran during their 2005 feud. Number 4. James Ellsworth is the only wrestler in WWE to have 3 consecutive victories over AJ Styles. The phenomenal one, AJ Styles is one of the greatest wrestlers of the last 2 decades from an in-ring perspective, finding success everywhere he went, becoming champion in TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling and in WWE. Whilst his booking hasn't always been consistent, there aren't many who have defeated Styles on multiple occasions, except for comedy jobber James Ellsworth, who somehow managed to pick up 3 consecutive victories over Styles in 2016, while Styles was the reigning WWE champion, which makes this fact even more of a surprise. Of course, these victories didn't exactly come without shenanigans, but it's still a crazy stat nonetheless. Number 3. MJF has wrestled more matches than Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is 45 years of age, with his career stretching back to the year 2000 when he joined WWE Developmental. MJF, on the other hand, is 26 years of age, almost 20 years younger, yet he has already wrestled in more matches than the multi-time world champion. This is due to Lesnar taking several years away from the ring to pursue football aspirations and compete in the UFC, and when he did finally return, he was a part-time attraction. Now, when explained like that, it doesn't seem too shocking, but with how big of a name Lesnar is, and with it being 22 years since his career began, it's still a wild fact. Number 2, John Cena is not a Grand Slam or Triple Crown champion. There's no doubt that John Cena is one of the greatest WWE superstars in history, with him tying Ric Flair as the most accomplished world champion of all time. However, unlike many of the other all-time greats such as Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Triple H, Bret Hart, and even newer WWE names such as AJ Styles and Kofi Kingston, he is neither a Grand Slam or Triple Crown champion. This is because the Intercontinental title has eluded Cena for his entire career, as he was quickly catapulted to the main event scene and never looked back. Number 1. Between Ric Flair's first and last match, Trish Stratus was born, debuted, retired, and retired again. The Nature Boy Ric Flair's career is unlike any other, but even with its outrageous longevity, it is crazy to think that not only was Trish Stratus born, raised, debuted as a wrestler and retire, but she also had 2 comebacks and retired again, all within the confines of Ric Flair's first and supposedly last matches. Of course, this was due to Flair wrestling his quote-unquote last match this past July, despite being in his 70s and being far from the ideal physical condition to compete.